All right, guys, I'll try to make this as quick as I can. I know you got other places to be, and some of you have a break, some of you have to get ready for a game. But first off, congrats on being selected for this event. You know, I've helped out Eric and Travis with the Crossroads for the past 3 years now. First as one of the district coaches up in Illinois, running that. And then most recently, the past few years, doing all the recruiting talks and doing that whole thing. A little bit of background, you know, about myself. I'm a head high school coach. I run a travel program. I've been a pro scout. Coached at the college level. Was blessed enough to play professionally, play collegiately. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything in the game. You know, run an academy, own an academy. But the thing I'm most passionate about is this. It is the recruiting part of it. Okay, and oftentimes the path that we choose in life is dictated by our own experiences. And the reason I'm so passionate about recruiting is because I come from a single parent household, you know, first person in my family, only person in my family to ever go to and graduate from a 4-year school. And I can honestly say that without baseball, without sports in general, I'm not sure if the grades would have stayed where they need to be. I'm not sure we've been able to afford it. And just the doors that the doors open for me has really just transformed and changed my life. Okay, and that's why I love doing this. I love dispelling some of the myths that are out there, because there's so much information now, you know, on the internet, things that you guys read, but there's also so much misinformation, and there's a lot of things that kind of breed insecurity, things that kind of make you feel like you might be behind or things might not be going right, you know, and I'm here to try to help you guys through all that. Okay, so I sent out an email this morning to everybody, you know, the parents and the players. You guys are probably already at the field or in transit on your way over here. Parents may have opened it on your phones and something like that. But if you have some time to review the information in there, it's a good idea. A lot of that same information is in these booklets that are right here, if you guys want to grab them. So I'm not going to read out what's in there verbatim, but I am going to add a little bit of color to it and a little bit of background information to it. Okay, so there's essentially 5 things in that book, or on that outline, that are covered and things that are asked. And the first one is, when does the recruiting process start? Okay, and in an event like this, we have, you know, rising sophomores on up to rising seniors. We have 3 years to work with, and it'd be silly to say, well, the recruiting process starts like on this specific date and time. Okay, there are recruiting rules where coaches can only contact you at certain points in time, right? But that's different than when the process starts. Okay, and the process really starts today. You can't change yesterday, you can't change last week, last month. You can't do anything about that. Okay, if you haven't already started the process, it starts today. Okay, and what the recruiting process really is just building relationships. Okay, and I asked this of all the groups, and if you've heard me say it before, sorry for being redundant, but how many of you went to your homecoming dance, went to prom, anything like that this year? Or last year or ever? Okay, you're kind of like, what the heck is this dude talking about? Okay. My assumption is that you didn't just bump into some girl in the hallway and you're like, hey, there's this thing going on next Saturday. I'm going to ask my mom and dad for $50 so we can go to Chili's. And we're going to eat all you can eat nachos, and then we're going to go dance. Do you want to go with me? It's probably not the way it went down, right? My guess is either it's a girl that lives down the street, might have went to grade school with her, maybe sit at the same lunch table, hang out with the same group of friends, might have algebra class with her, whatever it might be. You have some sort of relationship with this person. You don't have to label it a girlfriend, it might just be a friend, whatever. Okay, but you have some sort of relationship, and in doing so, your parents are like, all right, that's cool, you know, it's a high school experience, help the kid out, you go to the dance with the girl, she said yes, everything was good, right? Okay, well, the same thing holds true in the recruiting process. Okay, you don't just bump into a coach walking around here today, and you're like, hey, can I come to your school? He's not like, hey, you want to come to my school? That's not the way it goes down. Okay, coaches, as much as they want a good athlete, a good baseball player, as much as they want a great student, they want somebody to have a relationship with. They want to build a relationship with somebody and hopefully one day ask them to be a part of the program. Okay, they know that if it's a junior college, they're going to have 1 or 2 years with you. If it's a 4-year school, they're going to have 3, 4, 5 years with you. They don't want to show up to the ballpark every day with a group of guys they don't particularly care for. Okay, they're going to look at you, they're going to evaluate you not only on your skills, but also, is this the type of person that's going to fit in with the culture that I've created in my program? Okay, and you can't do that by looking in a booklet. You can't do that by watching video. Okay, you can't do that by watching a person play. You do that by building a relationship and allowing them to get some insight into who you are as a person. Okay, coaches fall in love with people as much as they do the players. Okay, and you have to remember that. And the more relationships that you build starting today, okay, the more opportunity you'll have of coaches wanting to ask you to the dance. Okay, so that involves picking up the phone, that involves sending out emails, that involves you introducing yourself to them in order to start that happening. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Second thing, how do coaches come up with these lists of players? Okay, Crossroads, fantastic event. Absolutely fantastic. Coaches, one of the few events out there where coaches still recommend players. There's 1,010,000 things out there where you can just sign up and show up and play, right? Okay, so that holds a lot of water with a lot of colleges. That's something that you guys should be proud of. Something you should thank the coaches for, because nobody's making them do it. They're choosing to take time to do that, and they're saying that they believe in that. Okay. However, there are a number of other things out there. You have your perfect games and your PBRs and this tournament and that tournament and this showcase and that showcase, this online platform and that online platform. There's a ton of things out there. Okay, if you have the opportunity to get your name into a database, do it. Because when coach tells a college coach, hey, you got to see this kid. Solid catcher, left bat, catch and throw guy, love him for days. The first thing the college coach is going to do is go back to Google and type in your name. Okay, he wants to see if there's a profile out there on you. He wants to see if there's video out there on you. Okay, he wants to see your social media stuff. Going back to that whole thing, is he going to fit in with my program? They're going to want to see the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay, the first thing coaches are going to do, they're going to look you up. Okay, so if you don't exist, when they look you up, they're going to kind of scratch their head at that. Like, why is this kid nowhere? And it's not saying that you have to invest a ton of money to make those things happen. Okay, but search around and see what works for you, and see how you can put yourself in the best position, shine yourself in the best light to make those things happen. Okay, next thing. Everybody want to watch that one, right?
Yeah. 2 in a row?
No, short, F8. So, next thing, how do the coaches, once they have your name, once they speak to your high school coach, your travel coach, whoever, how do they evaluate you? Okay, yes, there are schools out here today. Yes, there are a number of schools in Ohio. Okay, guys that could hop in the car and come out and see you. Okay, but more often than not, when I'm speaking to a coach, when most guys are talking, they're going to say, hey, do you have some video on? Right? Maybe we're 6 hours away, maybe I'm at a different event. Whatever the case may be, do you have video? Okay, and it absolutely blows my mind when I go back to a player and be like, hey man, do you have any current video? No, sorry coach, I don't. Haven't had time to get done. Like, do what? Like, you sent out 20 Snapchats yesterday and 30 tweets, and you're liking all these pictures on Instagram. Like, you're obviously, like, you have this thing out right here, which is also a high definition camera, isn't it? So when you guys go down to the cage, when you're in the bullpen, or when you're taking some extra ground balls, hand your phone to your buddy and be like, hey man, don't drop this, I can't break another screen, so my parents can take my phone away. But hey, can you shoot some video for me? 15 pitches, 10 cuts, 10 ground balls, whatever. Can you shoot some video for me? That's going to help me better understand myself as a player, but also then I have something to send out to schools. Okay, from the parents, from you guys, I get a different answer. Hey, do you guys have any video? No, you know what? You just started with a new pitching coach. We're working on something with the swing. You got a speed coach. We're trying to shave some time off to 60. Okay, college coaches, they understand that at 15, 16, 17 years old, they're naturally, and through skill development, through strength training, they understand that they're going to be bigger, faster, stronger, retooled, more polished at 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, they get that. Okay, but what you can't do is wait. There's no point in waiting. Okay, they understand these kids are going to grow and they're going to develop. Okay, but you have to get in the habit of putting things out there. You have to get in the habit of, it's like anything else in life. Like if you wait till, the end of, or the beginning of senior year, like, hey, we're gonna do a video now because now he's a senior, now he's ready. Okay, if you're gonna wait to do that, that would be like a dress rehearsal for the main production. Okay, if you get in the habit at 14, 15, 16 of putting out video, they're gonna become better at showing on video. It's just that simple. Okay, and I tip my cap to Eric and Travis and Crossroads. Anybody watch the MLB draft last night? Okay, like a number of those videos that were shot were done by Skill Show, the same guys that are out here today. Okay, they are the best in the business. Like they've done Bryce Harper and Chris Bryant and you name it. Like 80% of the guys that have been drafted in the past 10 years, you know, they've shot. So you have opportunity there as well. Okay, but there really should be no excuse why you don't have it. That's something you guys can commit to. Okay, do you need mom and dad to do that, or are we all big boys and can do that on our own? Raise your hand if you're a big boy. Good job, guys. That's awesome. Next thing. Okay, where are you qualified to play? Okay, I've worked a ton of events. You know, USA Baseball and stuff like that. Last year's draft, there were 22 guys that I'd been in the dugout with at some point working with. Them getting drafted had nothing to do with me. Okay, they're blessed athletes who worked really hard, you know, all that good stuff. Okay, but the thing that I want to point out is the best player, the person that I stand here and still say is the best baseball player I've ever coached. Okay, he's playing Division III baseball. Okay, he was playing Division III College World Series a couple weeks ago. Best baseball player I've ever coached. Okay, out of all those dudes. Okay, and could he have maybe went somewhere else? Possibly. But he wasn't getting the love from a lot of those people, and the school that he ultimately ended up at really, really wanted him. Okay, and they showed that to him by, you know, telling him, hey, you're going to be able to both pitch and play the field. You know, we see you coming in and starting right away. Can't promise you anything, but, you know, we see you on the field. Okay, they showed it financially. They helped him, you know, with some scholarship money. Okay, and yes, it is Division III, so it's not labeled athletic scholarship, it's merit-based aid. Okay, yes, work study money, but they made it affordable for his family. Okay, those two things really allow a program to tell you if they want you to. Okay, and do any of you wake up in the morning or go to bed at night and dream about sitting on the bench? Right, that's kind of a stupid question on my part. Nobody dreams of sitting on the bench. You want to go to a place where you're going to get on the field or have a chance to get on the field. Okay, and compete for a starting job, right? Okay, and it's more likely to happen if you go to a place that wants it. Okay, and there's over 1,600 schools out there that play baseball, play college baseball. I would find it amazing if I gave you guys a pen and paper, if any of you can name 50. If you named 100, blow my mind. Okay, but that means there's 1,500 or 1,550 or 1,600 that you're not naming. Okay, and that's an awesome thing because it means there's a lot of opportunity that you haven't even uncovered yet. Okay, a ton of opportunity, and I guarantee you, some of the coaches that are here today, some guys that are schools you might not be as familiar with, if you started developing that relationship, if you started having a conversation with them, communicating with them, you'd quickly find out, you're like, hey, that's the guy I want to play for. And then you go to their facilities, even if it's a smaller school. I mean, I could think of a bunch off the top of my head that look like this, that might not have, you know, that Division I label, okay, but they have the facilities that match that Division I program. Okay, but you never know about those things until you actually get them. Okay, so you have to do your homework, you have to open your eyes, you have to broaden your horizons and see what matches up best, athletically, academically, socially, you know, for a player like yourself. Last thing, you know, I mentioned the coaches at the beginning. You guys have to understand that high school program, depending on the size of the school, might have, what, 20 players, 40 players, you know, some 60 plus. Travel programs, looking at a lot of you guys' hats, you know, I know some of these programs have 100, 150, 200 players at the high school level. Okay, that you can't expect your coach, your travel director, or one of those guys to manage the process for everything. Okay, it is an unreasonable belief. And I'll say in the same right that if any coach or anybody out there promises that they're going to manage it all for you, that you're going to become disappointed. Okay, it's inevitable. Okay, your parents that are out here today, right? It's a Tuesday right now at 11 o'clock in the morning. Where are most parents on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock? Right, normally they're at work. Okay, so a lot of people are taking off. Some people plugged in, probably working remotely today, you know, clock in, clock out. I get it. But, you know, your parents are driving you around the country. Your parents are the ones that are financially, I'm sure in a lot of cases, helping make these things happen. Might have younger siblings that have to go to a babysitter, daycare, or go with grandma today. So you guys can come out here. They're doing a lot on their end to make these things possible. The coaches have families and full-time jobs and everything else. They have a lot to manage. They're here to aid you in the process. They're here to create opportunities. They're here to recommend you to an event like this. Parents are here to help you in those areas. It's your responsibility, guys. If you want this, the best way to say thank you to them, okay, is by answering those emails. Okay, is by going out and doing those things to show that all the time and effort wasn't for naught. Okay, and I promise you, if you spend time doing that, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, you're gonna have that moment where you're putting on that college hat, taking the picture with mom and dad and your coaches. You're gonna have that moment that you all been dreaming about. Okay, about committing to the school, whatever school that might be. Okay, that's a very real thing, and you want to make sure when you put on that hat that you're making an educated choice. Okay, because it just doesn't impact those 2 or 4 years going to that school. In many cases, what college you go to dictates the rest of your life. May end up who you marry, who your kids' godparents are, or your best man at your wedding. Those relationships that happen in college, your first job that you have. Okay, those relationships, those things, that sets the stage for everything else. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're in the right place with the right people that are going to support you in pursuing those dreams. Okay, so last thing I'll ask you guys, and something to think about, how many of you would say that you spend 10 hours plus on a baseball field, in the weight room, doing something baseball related each week, 10 hours plus? Okay, so most guys, how many guys are 15 hours plus? Hands up, 20 hours plus? Kind of a breaking point, right on the threshold there. 20 hours plus. Okay, so I spoke to like 20,000 different players last year, and I would say 3/4 of them were somewhere between like 12 and 18 hours of things that they're doing for baseball. Okay, so you're all kind of doing something pretty similar. Let me ask you this question. How many of you spent more than 4 hours researching schools, reaching out to colleges, looking at different opportunities? More than 4 hours? More than 2 hours? More than 1 hour? A couple guys. And be honest with this, how many guys last week spent 0 time as a recruiter? It's fine, I'm sure there's a number, okay? That's the thing that really gets a little bit confusing, because oftentimes what we're saying and what we're doing and what the end goal is don't all mesh well together. Okay, and I'm not saying that you need to work any less hard in the weight room or take any less extra work or any less BP or anything like that. I'm not saying do less of that. Okay, but think about if you were to reallocate some of that time, okay, or just add in 15 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. Hey, I'm going to research a couple schools. I'm going to shoot off a couple emails to coaches. The school that I really love, or I'm going to pick out a top 20 list, and for the next 3 weeks, each day I'm going to call one school and just introduce myself. How much greater opportunity do you think you have? It's silly to think, right? At the end of the summer, if you did that every day, you'd have 100 schools. Okay, that you know for certain, at least know about you and you're on their list. Okay, so again, you guys have to keep doing the work out here, you have to keep doing the work in the classroom, but if you want to accelerate all that, and you want kind of like that turbo boost, like, you play Madden football and you get like turbo boosters or whatever, you want the turbo booster recruiting, like you have to build those relationships, you have to do that. That make sense, guys? Alright, does that make sense to all of you? Anybody have any questions? For me, players, parents, anybody? Gotcha. One thing to keep in mind, Eric covered at the beginning in the intro meeting about the coach packet. In order for you to be searchable by schools outside of the ones that are in attendance here today, to be searchable by all 1,600 plus in the country, okay, you have to go through the verification process if you haven't already. Okay, so somebody will give you a phone call. Okay, they'll confirm that your contact info is right. Grad year, high school, height and weight have to be on there. There's certain minimum criteria that the NCAA requires for your profile to be searchable. and then it also has to go through that verification. Okay, if you don't do it, the coaches won't be able to see you. Okay, so make sure that you do that. In addition, and probably equally as important, they're going to walk you through the tools that are made available to you, both the free ones and any premium ones if you're interested, just so you get a better understanding of how to use it, how to upload video, how to search for schools, do all that stuff. So, you're not just given this thing, you're like, here, figure it out, right? It's kind of like an in-person, one-on-one teaching session. Okay, so something that you guys have to do. So when the phone does ring, make sure that you answer it, make sure that you get back to the coach that's going to be calling, and get that going. So that's all I got. If there are any questions, I'll be hanging out. There's in that email I sent out earlier, my contact info is in there. I have some business cards on me. There's booklets over there. So I'm here to be a resource for you guys, along with Crossroads and along with the coaches. So if there's anything to think of when you're leaving here today, this week, whenever, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help you guys. So thank you very much. Go out there and have fun the rest of the day. It's a game. Have fun playing it. Thank you.